Hey y'all, welcome back. Wait, let me turn it up. Okay. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video with Life with Chester. This is for Beyond the Gates, May 28, 2025. Okay, y'all. So first things first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's new episode down below. Look, I said I don't know if I want to start with Danny or if I want to start with Martin. Cause with Martin, I was like, I know doggone well. He got better sense than to go up in there in public and tell that he done did something horrible or whatever. He did something horrible one night and all this other stuff. I said, I know doggone well he got better sense than that. But yeah, he was just dreaming, y'all. And then Danny, I read a comment that said, they can't believe that Danny's still not over Bill. I can believe it. I said, what part of she said she was moving on and stuff like that. She focused on the agency her and Pamela supposed to be building and all that other stuff. But I think majority of us knew that she wasn't over him, and I don't think he over her either. Now I don't know if it's because of everything that comes with being with her, or it's just the fact that he misses her or what. But you could tell he left his wife at the doggone table to come confront her about kissing Pamela. If that don't send out alerts, I don't know what do. He then it's the fact that Haley didn't check him about that too. I just thought about that. The fact that she didn't check him about that because he just said he was done with the Duprees and everything that comes with them, but he can't seem to stay away. Well, okay, on today's episode, we're gonna start with Haley, Bill, Chelsea, and then Martin. So Haley and Bill was still right there at the is it called the country club? At the club. I don't know the name of the the club or whatever, and Chelsea was still there, and she thought that they was playing or whatever, and they was just talking. Hold on, wait a minute. They was just talking, and Haley was reminding Chelsea once again that he's never coming back to Danny and all this other stuff. So she eventually left. But this the part that got me. So Haley told Bill it's a good thing that he didn't cancel the college fund. And he gonna talk about some doggone he could call whoever it is. I'm assuming it's his finance advisor or somebody like that, accountant, I don't know. He talking about something he could start the transferring to the funds right now. And then she gonna say some I don't want to talk about money right now. You the one who brought it up. She talking about so she don't want to talk about money right now. You literally the one that brought it up. Talking about some it's a good thing that he didn't cancel that college fund. I said Danny might be onto something. I said she might be onto something. I don't know if she's pregnant or not, or if it's Bill baby if she is pregnant, but I definitely think she's up to something. Now at the end of the episode, when they showed her going through the mail, I think first she walked in with Bill or they was talking to something and she had the mail and I seen that big yellow envelope. So why I thought that was gonna be the cliffhanger that it was gonna show the envelope, something was gonna be on it, or something like that, some photos or something was gonna be inside of it, something. No, here come Danny. I said, should have known she was coming. Well, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, it's gonna be something in that mail, but no. Then it was like it was a noise, and I thought that maybe Bill fell. But then Danny came. She came and she was like, something about Bill not good with locks. But yeah, back to Haley, Bill, Chelsea, Martin. Like I said, she told myself it's a good thing that he didn't cancel the college fund, and that's when he said they could start the transfer right now. She told myself she don't want to talk about money now or whatever. So then by the time they got ready to continue their conversation, that's when Martin came in. I said, here you go, Martin. I said, here go Martin. So he wanted to confront him. He kept trying to talk to him or whatever, but he was like, Haley was like, she could go. He's like, no, whatever you need to say to me, you can say in front of my wife. So she eventually finally left. She finally left to my so she got to take some calls. I said, yeah, okay. So she left, and that's when Martin and him got to talking. And he said, why would you imply anything to Smitty, to his husband or whatever, when you know doggone well he a reporter, his job is to uncover stuff. I said the same could be said about you. Why would you lie when you know his job is to uncover lies? Doesn't make it make sense. He's still lying. And he's still lying, y'all. And I was like, make it make sense, man. But yeah, did y'all see that dude? Was that the same dude from the restaurant? I said, so what is he, a PI or something? If he is a PI, who's investigating him? Did y'all see him? He was serving them or whatever, and then he was watching. He was watching the entire time. And I said, they look like the same dude from the restaurant. I could be wrong, but either way it go, look like they following Martin. Yeah, let me know if y'all seen that dude in the club watching Martin. And then he left as soon as he left. Did he take out his phone? I don't know if he takes or calls somebody or what, but yeah, he followed Martin. or at least he left when Martin did. But yeah, what else happened? Like I said, Martin was confronting him about telling Smitty or implying stuff to Smitty or whatever. Somebody he a reporter, and I said you could assume the same thing. You over here lying and stuff like it ain't his job. And I told you, I said Smitty gonna be the one to uncover whatever it is he did, because they still ain't saying exactly what he did. So Martin and Bill just going back and forth about which person worse, and just talking about that night and stuff like that. And Bill telling him to mind his manners and stuff like that. And they were just going back and forth, and he was confronting him. And I was like, dude, don't sit up here and tell him that in front of nobody. If you wanted to stay a secret, then they showed him confronting him and saying all this stuff about what he did that night or whatever. And I was like, I know he losing it. I said, I know down well he losing it, but he was just imagining it, y'all. I said, he tripping. What did he say? Let me see if I wrote it down. I don't know if I don't think I did. I wrote down, I said Martin bringing attention, but then they showed that it was a dream or whatever. Well, yeah, Bill said something about he not only cleaned up Martin mess, but he fixed him as well. I said, what he did? I said, what he did? But it's clear that it's something about his temper. That's obvious at this point. It's definitely obvious that it's something about his temper. Bill also told him that he gonna collect on what he owed him sooner or later. So we'll see what that's about. After he left, that's when him and Haley was talking about the fact that she's pregnant or whatever. They end up going home, and that's when he said something about, I don't know if he was going to get refreshed or whatever. Refreshed. I don't know if he went to get freshened up or whatever he said. But that's when it was like this noise. She had this stack of mail or whatever, and it was this yellow envelope. And I was like, son, in that envelope. Look, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, son, in that envelope. Nope. The noise was Danny. She done broke into these folks or walked into these folks' place or whatever, and she about to confront Haley about being pregnant. I was like, please leave this man and his lady alone. Let him find out about himself. He gonna find out who she is. Watch. Eventually, anyways, but she always got to sit up here and confront about Bill. Bill this, Bill that. But yeah, I don't know who. Somebody, it was some people saying they surprised that she's not over him. I ain't. We've been watching. Look, if you've been watching, you know she ain't over him and he ain't over her. With Terrell, Jessica, Smitty, what's the girl name? Samantha. I forgot to write down her name. Y'all don't. Samantha. Yeah, with them, they was still kissing or whatever. Then he got up or whatever, and he was like, "What is this?" He was questioning what she wants. Is this a setup? Did somebody send her to do it? She popular or she hang with the popular kids or whatever? Why would she be into him? And she got offended and she left. She got offended and she left or whatever. So I think Samantha heard everything. So she went to talk to him at the end of the episode, and that's when she was saying, like, basically you got to see yourself as more or whatever. Excuse me. She was just encouraging him. Oh, I forgot about the Smitty part. Smitty came in when she was leaving or whatever. But yeah, I was like, look, that's all that happened with them. Nothing too much. With Derek and Ashley, they was on a date at Orphe Jeans. Ha 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 ha. I wrote it down this time at Orphe Jeans. I think that's what they said. Well, yeah, they was on the date or whatever, and they were just talking about the same thing. Derek ends up returning the key, but she convinced him to take it back, and they agreed to go back to how things was, where he'll come over sometimes and spend the night, but he'll leave or whatever. Then they still was arguing back and forth. I know sometimes relationships have arguments or whatever, but yeah, they still was arguing. Jacob and Naomi ended up joining them and was just talking about June. Excuse, Lord, talking about June and everything, and talking about their situation, comparing notes about how when they first moved in, things wasn't easy either, and just encouraging them. That's all that happened. But he did say, Jacob did say that he was finna meet up with Kat. I said, Kat ain't let it go yet. I said, she ain't let it go yet. So I'm assuming on tomorrow's episode we're gonna see Jacob and Kat talk about the same thing about who took out who took out, who tried to take out Laura or whatever. With Danny and Chelsea, she finally got a chance to tell her that Haley's pregnant, and she just paused. Now, at first, she was calm with her, but then she went to investigating and questioning everything and talk about how Bill old and stuff like that. How Bill old and going after younger women, and just talking about that and talk about, oh, that maybe Haley's faking. First, I think she said that if Haley is pregnant, then it's not Bill's. I said the same thing. I said if she is, it might not be Bill's. I said she got pregnant fast. They were just trying to make a baby the other day. They were just trying to make a baby the other day. But yeah, her thing was, one, either she faking the pregnancy, or either she's pregnant by somebody else and she won't money, and she was talking about the trust fund, baby. I said, you know, Danny, you might be onto something, because she did mention it's a good thing that he didn't cancel that college fund. That's the first thing she said. Well, it ain't the first thing she said, but y'all get it. Well, yeah, she talking about something. It's a good thing you didn't cancel that college fund. And I about to say his stupid tail. His foolish tail talking about some, I'm gonna call and have them transfer the funds immediately. I said, now why would you go do a thing like that? But yeah, and Chelsea was trying to get through to Dan, and she was like, I thought you was over him, and she thought that, you know, she was trying to calm her down and stuff. I said, it's too late, she gone. She out of there. She be tripping me out how she be bugging her eyes and stuff. I said, it's too late, she's gone, girl. Well, yeah, the whole scene with Chelsea, Danny was basically just talking to herself. At first, Danny was acting nonchalant, like she didn't care or whatever, but then she started. And she's like, of course, she's faking or whatever. She's trying to get money and stuff like that. She would have been announced it. Had she announced it yet? Just study going on and on about Bill and Haley or whatever. Then, like I said, at the end of the episode, she showed up there trying to confront Haley. And I said, Danny, let it go, girl. Let it go. Let me see. Oh, I skipped the part. Naomi, Jacob, Haley. I think they came back. I don't know if they was at the gym or what, or playing basketball. They were doing something, and they came back from it. That's when Haley said something about celebrating with Bill, and she asked if they didn't want to know, or said something about they didn't want to know what it was. I was waiting on her to tell. I was waiting on her to tell that she was pregnant to see everybody's reaction, but she didn't tell that part. She did not tell. They end up leaving or whatever. Martin and Smitty, he got back to the house. Martin got back to the house. What was that on? It was like, where you been? What was that on? What was it on? I think it was a Disney movie, y'all. I think it was Jump In, where Corbin Bluehead came through the window, snuck back in, and then the daddy was like, where you been? Martin got back in. Smitty was questioning him about the little meeting or whatever. He's talking about, yeah, whatever. He's like, I know you didn't go to have that little meeting or whatever. I know where you went. You went to confront Bill or whatever. Then he's still lying. Talking about something. Yeah, he couldn't try to use you. He was trying to use you. I said, dude, come up with a lot fast, don't he? He's like, yeah, I had to confront him trying to use my husband and stuff like that. I was like, dude, he ain't buying what you selling. Ha. I remember. I said, he over here talking about some, yeah, I had to let it be known. He getting angry then. I said, he got a temper. That's one thing we know about the temper. We know about the crowbar or whatever. Well, I said, yeah. But yeah, Smitty, let me see. Let me make sure I cover. I think I wrote it down. Smitty wanted to know why Martin was lying. He ends up revealing that he knows that he confronted Bill, and he still was lying. He's still over here acting like didn't nothing happen. Oh, it's not like that. And he was like, I got the text message about the meeting or whatever before you even left. And then like he said, what did he say? Doggy. Let me see. Well, I know why Bill wouldn't find anything because Smitty reported. I already said that part. It was something that Smitty said to Martin, and I was like, exactly. I said the same thing. What was it? It was something, y'all. I can't remember. I didn't write it down. But I said Martin think that Smitty slow or something. He think that he don't catch on. The same thing you told Bill about him being a reporter, you need to remember. And he gonna be the one to find out, especially what you keep lying. Then Martin wanted to know how Smitty found out that he was with Bill or whatever. He's like, no, I'm not having you follow or nothing like that. And I was like, dude, he finna find out one way or another. Oh, he said something about you could just tell me instead of Bill saying anything, stuff like that. I said, exactly. He's like, you read a lot of me. I said, true that. He definitely would read a lot of you, and it's all gonna blow up in his face too. Watch. Sitting up here lying like that. I said, Marty come up with a lot fast. I'm like, well, he is a politician. I just thought about that. I said, he is a politician. Their job is a lot. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I take that back. If their job is to do right, but they never do. But yeah, I was like, dude, how you come up with a lie on the spot like that? But yeah, let me see. Smitty, already said Smitty. Samantha tells Terrell to have more confidence in himself. And the last thing I wrote down is, now why would Danny be in these folks' house? She'd have walked in or whatever. I said, Danny, let it go, please. Please let it go, girl. But that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day and be safe. Well, great rest of the night and be safe.